August 25th, 2025, in Bangladesh's Cox's Bazar, on the 8th anniversary of the Rohingya mass exodus from Myanmar, calls are growing louder for the world to end the ethnic cleansing of the Rohingya minority. At a high-level aid conference, leaders meet refugees and international delegates. Behind the handshakes and photographs lies a grim reality. More than 1 million Rohingya remain stranded in Bangladesh's vast camps, the largest refugee settlement in the world. The host nation, already burdened by poverty and climate disasters, shoulders this humanitarian crisis largely alone. Yet, officials say the world has a moral duty to intervene before it is too late. A minute of silence is observed for the Rohingya lives lost, reflecting both grief and defiance, a determination that the tragedy of 2017 must not be repeated. On this fateful day, it is our moral responsibility to take the right side of history and stop the armed actors from carrying out their horrible design of ethnic cleansing of the entire Rohingya population. It will be a historic blunder if we wait for seeing the very last Rohingya leaving Rakhine. The warning is stark. Silence or delay would make the international community complicit in a slow genocide. We urge upon the international community to undertake collective efforts to stop the Myanmar junta and the Arakan army from unleashing violence against the Rohingya. Effective role of the international community is much more needed than ever before. The message is clear. This crisis cannot be solved by one country alone. Regional powers, Western nations, and the United Nations must act, and act decisively. The Rohingya crisis emanated from Myanmar, and the solution also lies in Myanmar. All parties must act to end the crisis with greater resolve without any further delay. For the speakers at this gathering, the solution lies not in endless refugee camps, but in Myanmar itself, in recognition, rights, and repatriation. We urge upon Myanmar government and de facto authorities in Rakhine to constructively engage in dialogue with the Rohingyas to promote reconciliation among themselves, restore rights of the Rohingyas, and facilitate their speedy repatriation back to their homes. But such dialogue has remained elusive. Myanmar's military faces sanctions. While violence in Rakhine continues, we make an appeal to the international donors to enhance their commitments in order to fill out the fund gaps in the Joint Response Plan of 2025 to 2026. At the same time, we urge upon the stakeholders to undertake consolidated efforts for adequate and sustainable funding for future as well. The humanitarian needs are staggering. Food shortages, health crises, and education gaps plague the camps. Donor fatigue, however, threatens to cut vital aid lifelines. It's a historical moment where Bangladesh is holding this stakeholders conference before the UN meeting. The most important thing is that after 8 years of the Rohingya genocide, Bangladesh is holding such a big event with the stakeholders. It's wonderful, a historical memory. I'll remember this forever. For refugees, this gathering feels like a turning point, a symbol that their voices are finally being heard on a global stage. For 8 long years, life in Cox's Bazar has been marked by uncertainty. Children born here have never seen their ancestral homes. Adults live with trauma of massacres and displacement. Aid agencies warn that without urgent action, a lost generation of Rohingya may emerge, stateless, voiceless, and forgotten. The host nation insists it cannot carry this burden forever. Its economy strains, local host communities grow resentful, and security fears linger. Yet, repatriation is impossible without guarantees of safety and citizenship in Myanmar, conditions that have yet to be offered. The Rohingya issue is not just a regional crisis, it is a test of global conscience. Will nations step forward with funding, diplomacy and pressure, or will they let yet another ethnic minority fade into exile and despair? From Cox's Bazar, the words spoken here echo far beyond Bangladesh's borders. The Rohingya crisis, they warn, is not only a burden for one nation, it is a moral responsibility for all humanity. This is not just one country's story. It is the world's.
Ready, camera. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello.
Crisis until they return home. Only safe saving programs for them. We urge attendant donors further
to kindly make his remarks. Sir.
it is indeed my honor to speak before you. Succession of the dialogue into the decisive action for
Excellencies and distinguished guests, we are honored today to have a globally acclaimed leader.
Response has been remarkable, with local populations welcoming those back from refugees. Honorable Chief Advisor of the Government of Bangladesh, ladies and
giving them hope that the world is with them. And the Secretary General came in March here to be. On this fateful day, it is our moral responsibility to take the right side of history and stop the armed actors from carrying out their horrible design of ethnic cleansing of the entire Rohingya population. It will be a historic blunder if we wait for seeing the very last Rohingya living Rakhine. We urge upon the international community to undertake collective efforts to stop the Myanmar junta and the Arakan army from unleashing violence against Rohingya. Effective role of the international community is much more needed than ever before. Rohingya crisis emanated from Myanmar, and the solution also lies in Myanmar. All parties must act to end the crisis with greater resolve without any further delay. We urge upon Myanmar government and de facto authorities in Rakhine to constructively engage in dialogue with the Rohingyas to promote reconciliation among themselves, restore rights of the Rohingyas and facilitate their speedy repatriation back to their homes. We make an appeal to the international donors to enhance their commitments in order to fill out the fund gaps in the joint response plan of 25-26. At the same time, we urge upon the stakeholders to undertake consolidated efforts for adequate and sustainable funding for future as well.
এটা একটা হিস্টোরিক্যাল মুভমেন্ট যেটা এখান স্টেট বাংলাদেশে নিজে বাজে স্টেক হোল্ডার ডায়ালগ করি ওরে ইউএনর মিটিংর আগে যা তোমার গো যার এখান দ্য মোস্ট ইম্পর্টেন্ট ওরে আজ যা রোহিঙ্গা জিনোসাইড 8 বছর পুরাই দিনিয়ানমারে এত বড় একটা প্রোগ্রাম বাংলাদেশে নিজে বাজে ইনিশিয়েটিভ লইয়ে ইয়ানর দ্য ওয়ান্ডারফুল কারণ হিস্টোরিক্যাল মেমোরি আর তো হামিশকো মনত থাকিব